Sorry, I gotta sign off and come back. I apologize. I just have all kinds of USB
No worries.
problems. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Joel's going to be right back. He's having some technical issues. We're starting off with an agenda, which will be linked to the video when if you guys do catch up with us. Good morning. It's been a minute since we all got together on this subject. I'm hoping that where we're at right now means that the website and all that stuff is pretty much ready to go. Theoretically. I know there's been some documents that are working out there. I think we have some user experience discussions that need to happen. Wink, do we have a PNG of the logo?
Yes.
Folder, because I didn't see it, so I was looking for it before. Just the logo.
I might have just sent it to Joel. I'll put it in the folder.
Okay. And can we have one that says just for would you add Queerburner's blog to that as well? A logo for the Queerburner's blog, if we keep that going.
Yay.
So it's all the same font going across.
Where is that?
The blog?
Yeah.
It's blog.queerburners.com. But I think that's in the scope of our conversation today. I think maybe we should talk about what the future of that is, if we have time at the end, because we talked about getting rid of it too.
Yeah, we can. If we want to keep it around, we can keep it around. If it turns out we need it, I'm also willing to go over there and just change some of the styles to match so that it kind of looks like.
Yeah, it could use some work.
It's not that much. I mean, I'll change a couple. I could change a couple of. You get that.
Well, I mean, I went through it the other day and was fussing around with it, but I kept running out of time.
Yeah. I think that'll get a little bit less. I think that's a little bit less traffic these days, people. But it is sort of nice to have a place where we can put things that we know are going to be time bound or ephemeral.
So this is being recorded, Matt, just so you know. We're just starting off. And I'll just update everybody that's here is that Nexus and I met before the meeting just to talk about diversity stuff real quick. But we're going to table this discussion for another day this week for us focus on that subject. And we'll invite everybody in the group who wants to participate, because that in that 10 minutes, I realized it's a really tough subject and it's important. So we're just going to start going into the agenda. I moved your item up a little bit there, one of your items up there, Joel.
Okay.
There's been a lot that's happened since we last got together, and I think everybody here pretty much participated with that except for Joel when we defined the roles for board members and officers. And we're getting ready to launch a press release that Matt, myself, and the people that were in that discussion wanted to drive through Wink. So we get Wink's eyes on it. We make sure we're in scope with our style guide and that we get that out so people can start commenting on the information that we put together. Wink, have you had a chance to look at that at all?
I haven't, no.
Okay. I know you're busy with a bunch of work-related stuff right now, and I don't want to take you away from that, but I want to take you away from that a little bit. Just, I think it's important that we get the news release out, and it's not in my name. I think Matt and I also talked about how it would be better that coming from a new direction, the voice. So maybe I've talked so much over time that, people have their filters up for some stuff, but with a new voice, I think, and a new tone, I think we need to, start off in the right foot. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right. So website updates. We had a bunch of documents that were in a shared folder. And everybody was tasked to look them over and make comments or edits. Has everybody had a chance to do that?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
And are we ready to push those onto the website live?
Hold on, let me find. I'm trying to click on the Zoom, the link in the Zoom. It's not working. Of course.
In the future, we'll be able to do that.
Click through Zoom.
Yep.
There we go.
When we
Oh,
apply-
you're trying to click. Oh.
I'm clicking on that drive link to see the drive folder. It's just clicking on a Zoom window. I didn't see. Oh, there is a bunch of stuff there. I didn't see that there was anything updated, but
So this morning I added the 501c3 one.
okay.
There was a question about adding the officers. It's pretty much just a copy and paste of the stuff that we've already talked about.
Mhm.
And I've listed the board of directors and officers positions and the paid positions there.
Mhm.
Without any names attached to them, of course, because we haven't had our first board of directors meeting to put people into different roles. The next board of directors meeting actually is going to be very definitive. So I look forward to everybody being there who can be. Joel, that might be a good one for you to maybe just bop into and check it out.
Okay.
If you just want to check it out and maybe have some input on some of the discussions. But that goes for everyone else too, because everyone else here.
I love being the code monkey though.
What's that?
I love being the code monkey where it's like, I don't know. I don't understand any of that stuff. I just type on computers.
Yeah, but you've been really participating in this since the beginning, and I really appreciate your presence. Okay, so looking at this, 2 pages that I asked to be added, at least in scope. One kind of riffing off of what Joel was talking about was just a 501c3 link at the bottom of the website, and that just offers a lot of information there. It's our mission statement, our case statement, our vision statement, just a list of officers, and in my perception, and I'm ready for your guys' feedback on this, we would add the names for the 2021 officers when they're added to that. We still give people a chance to nominate and request to be part of the board through the year. Thoughts, feelings, rejections.
Can we break that down? So just, I guess, first, we're adding things to the bottom of the page, to the bottom of the site, right?
Adding a link that says 501c3 that.
So I would just question, like, 501c3, like, if you're not really clued in, it would just be like code. So I think it needs a title that will explain what it is, rather than, like, that's going to the finest detail. So I just think it needs a more general descriptor.
Do you have a suggestion?
The bottom paragraph on Greeter Station, which is our homepage, it just says Queer Burners is a grassroots project. It's not officially sanctioned, and it's okay to say that. That might be a place to add another sentence saying, if you'd like to know more about the 501c3 nonprofit organization behind Queer Burners, I was on the homepage. Yeah, click here. So there's a sentence that basically says, in there. There is a 501c3 organization behind this. If you'd like to learn more about that.
I could be good with that. Is everybody good with that? I mean, it eliminates more noise on the page, so I think that's even better. Okay. And then, so we're officially good with that. Can we go, are we good with the context?
What's the context? What do we
The information that's there. I really didn't write anything new.
Oh yeah.
It's essentially just information put together.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Okay, so we're good with adding that to the website. The second item, where'd it go? Here we go. Sorry,
Can I ask a quick question?
tabs open like, as usual.
Can
Matt's
I ask a-
judging me right now.
Can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What URL are we using? I've seen now like 3. You have
Queerburners.org.
Okay.
.org. .com is still pointing to the old site, but only for the next 20 minutes.
Limited time offer.
Limited time offer. I was actually thinking, like literally today was when I was gonna go ahead and switch over the .com. So this is the default.
Yeah, I
landing
think
page.
that's ideal. It's like we're done with the old site for, you know, informational.
For non-blogging.
It's just nostalgia at this point.
Yeah.
And Matt, you can get to that anytime by doing blog.queerburners.com. I think in the scope of our conversation today, we might talk about the validity of keeping that, but we'll see where that goes.
And then there's another URL, Queer Burners directory. That's just redirecting to.
That's just historical. That was for development purposes. That's the same as queerburners.org.
Okay. Just
That's
curious.
before I just used that domain name before we came up with the idea of registering queerburners.org.
Okay.
Okay. So we had another document. Which one was it? The programs. So one of the foundations that we're starting off with, you know, and just in our community development over time, is to start working with, start getting information out there for the different things that we're going to be doing going forward. And so I wanted to put a list of programs that we're working on out there as well. I didn't go through this today, but it might still need some editing, but I'd still like to get this at the top of the menu.
May I share one immediate thing to consider?
Please.
I'm just wondering if fundraising is necessary for that first bit, because fundraising, I think, would theoretically be supporting all of our programs, even if we have a dedicated, like if people can specifically give to a grant program or whatever for artists, I don't think we necessarily need to describe fundraising as a program, if that makes sense. Unless you have something else. This is completely like, if I were just reading this fresh.
So would that mean then just getting this or moving it down as far as importance on the page, or?
Oh, no, what you just did would be my suggestion. Again, because I don't think fundraising would not support, you know what I mean? Like, I think fundraising has something to do in terms of supporting all of our programs. So it reads interesting, unless, but possibly intentional. I don't want to say don't do it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there for consideration.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't need to be there. So I think the important part is supporting artists and performers. So I'm with you on that. I can do some more editing on this and make sure it's more refined. But I want to make sure you guys have feedback on this.
Yeah, I'll add some tiny comments. What I feel like is there's it's kind of a call to action, but also a little bit ambiguous. Like, what do we want people reading this to do next?
Okay.
And then we can try to, orient it a little bit about how it reads to make sure that they,
Okay, let's back
they do it.
burner this for now until the next meeting, so we don't get mired down in it. And
Okay.
then, well, I'll do some editing. You guys feel free to make any comments on it.
okay,
Then we'll talk about it at the next meeting. Is that all right?
yeah. For artists and performers.
I'm gonna go ahead and close this document. Is that all right?
Yeah.
I have way too many tabs open on my computer. It's an illness, I tell you. All right. So any of the content issues that we need to address right now, anyone want to bring anything up and add to this conversation? Okay. All right. So user experience and just overall flow. Let's see. Joel, you had one other thing you wanted to talk about. Did we skip it or did we get there?
My other thing is just how we want to handle people contacting us, since that's kind of what the website is for. And I was essentially just going to volunteer. What we can do is we can set up as many email
Okay.
aliases as we want at no extra cost. Because
Okay.
we have you have Google for domain set up now, right? For queerburners.com for the email.
I deleted it because I was
Yeah.
getting charged for it,
Oh.
and I didn't want to get in your way
Okay.
because one of the things that that came up in an earlier conversation was anyway. So one of them was what we were going to do in this area specifically,
Mhm.
and so I didn't want to get in your way. And so I deleted everything that I set up
Okay.
so we could, start fresh.
Okay. So what I suggest we do is we can set up literally as many fake email aliases as we want. And I'll set it up so that we can come up with just whatever long list we want of everything, like events, support, process, board, legal. And it can be one, it could just be one, which is info. I wanted to set up one just for people that are having tech support issues with, getting their website into the directory, or people that want to call attention to things. And for each of those, we can just basically map a list of emails that bounces to. So when somebody emails, legal@queerburners.org, which we should probably have on our privacy page in case somebody wants to, then it goes to, whoever is assigned to that. If somebody emails, webmaster, it goes to me.
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple of issues that I'm concerned about that kind of branch into some of the other parts of the conversation. Technically speaking, right now, I feel like we're 100% reliable on you for any changes to the website, for example, as
Yeah.
far as CSS or adding pages or stuff like that. Where that also puts us reliant on you as far as managing email addresses, and that kind of eliminates, if you get run over, by tomorrow,
Okay, so
what do we do
with the email? So if you find another volunteer that wants to shadow me, I will teach them everything I know. Good. We have one.
I see Matt volunteering for that. If that's
Okay.
an option.
Yeah,
Because we really need a primary and a backup at least, and we need to be able to, one of the things I messaged you this week about is I think we really need to have more room around the images because the text is bumping right up against it.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. I'll do that. You said just 10 pixels.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably a good thing. I can't go willy-nilly changing things, which is fine, and it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But
well, let me figure out if there's an easy way I can give you a CSS editing.
well, I
button.
mean, just if we have a system and we have
Yeah.
a document, like if there's an emergency or we need to do something.
Yeah.
If there's some kind of document there that how to, or
Yeah, they're already, I mean, what exists sort of on the GitHub page, since the source code that I wrote is all open source. So we kind of have a GitHub page in it. Queer Burners, I think it's github.com. So it still says Queer Burners directory.
and that goes along with how email addresses would work too. Are you thinking about just
Well, the email address is what I was thinking of doing is we set it up on a Google domain. We buy exactly one email address from Google. So it's $5 or $3 if we use one of the discount things. And then in that inbox, like we can essentially share access to that inbox. Anybody wants to go in and see any email coming in to any of the email addresses, just all go in the same place in there. But it will have some filter set up as rules that say if email arrives that says webmaster, forward a copy to Joel Spolsky. And so those are just filter rules in Gmail that anybody
Oh, I
can
see.
go edit. That was how I was planning to do that. So it's not like a woo-woo thing. Queer Burners.
Now,
Yeah,
does
if we
that
want to.
does that hamstring us, or does that get in our way if we want to eventually move over to a G Suite? If
That is G Suite. That was G Suite based. I mean, that would be, my theory would be that we set up a Google G Suite account, just one for now, and just solely for the purpose of just handling the email.
okay, that sounds great. I think we brushed across this at one time before. Does anyone have any apprehensions about this path? Because it will allow us to kind of maybe at some point migrate all of our documentation over to that G Suite. So, okay.
Yeah, that can actually be
Nodding.
done still all on that same one account, as far as
What was that?
like that can all be done with just this single G Suite account. Like we don't have to really be buying a whole bunch of people G Suite accounts.
Oh,
think-
okay.
That would be unless we had. I just don't think that makes sense for a small organization for everybody to get another whole account on Google.
Yeah, and I'm relying on, like, you guys are more technically inclined than I am in this area, so I'm very much relying on your advice for this.
I definitely recommend using G Suite, and we can always add new accounts later as needed.
Yeah,
as we scale.
I mean, my theory is what we do is we set up. You can tell G Suite, you can give it kind of any number of aliases for a single person, and so that's what it'll be. It'll be one account with like 9 aliases, and then a filter rule that then shoots it out to whoever's responsible for that area at that time that we can change and edit.
That sounds great. Okay, I got thumbs up from everyone on that. Yay. Matt, thumb. Give me your thumb, Matt. Matt, show me your thumb.
Been nodding vigorously.
Huh?
I've been nodding vigorously. That is
You
that is-
have been, yes. Right on. Okay, that's awesome, Joel. Thank you so much. All right. So email, that's kind of taken a win. And then how do we migrate all the files over to that, and how do we manage it?
Wait, which files?
So we've got all of this documentation that's sitting here in these folders now.
Oh, how do we like change their ownership into the G Suite account?
Yeah.
It's where are they exactly? I don't understand. Like Google Docs drives me crazy.
Well,
never
I use
know where
them
anything
all the time, so
is.
I'm pretty comfortable with them. So they're all on my account at this point.
Oh, got it.
It would be better, like if I got hit by a bus, that it'd be moved on.
Okay.
I've got ownership set up so all of you can access them at any time.
Let me change Google Docs. Look at the file you're trying to transfer. Yeah, you'll be able to just share them all with that account. Like there's a command to transfer ownership of things.
Okay, we'll work it out.
Yeah. Let me get the Gmail thing set up and the email working, and then once that account is there, we'll test it and we'll transfer transfer things. I hope there's a way to transfer like a whole folder at a time, so you don't have to go through one at a time. But I think it's the same as you just hit share in Google Docs, and then you can change the owner when you do share.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so that takes us, oh, wow, we're doing good with time. All right. So user experience, back to that a little bit though. So we talked about the CSS. One of the things that I'm kind of a little bit concerned about is the way the history link works up at the top. I think history is important, and it's nice that all this information is kind of encapsulated together. I think that it should be, the years should be in reverse order. I think that the history link of QuibRunner should be at the top. But I think it would be better to have them in the other way. So the most recent is at the top.
Yeah, that's makes sense. Done.
Magical.
Well, I mean, it's gonna have to cut and paste a whole bunch of lots of code. It's gonna take me days.
Oh, really?
No, no, it makes sense to me too. Easy.
Okay. So let's see. Are there any other concerns about usability, user experience that anybody sees that is calling out to them?
Well, I guess just one thing to think about is expansion, because, you know, as it'll be an ongoing, constantly changing page or site. So like, just wondering, like when we add programs, like where do we see, like, I think, you know, in the beginning, you know, Scott, Joel and I, you know, sort of came up with this format, but I don't think we necessarily thought about how it would grow. Like, I think we were solving the problem of like migrating the old site to a new site, but now it seems like there'll be things that need to be added to this. And just to think through, I mean, we don't need to do it right now, but just to have a thought about where these additional things go so that it doesn't turn into a Frankenstein, you know?
Well, we don't want to do a lot of creeping out of scope anyways. I think you're right about with the things that you just said. But I don't think programs has ever been something that's not been part of the equation, because at some point we need people to, you know what's available to them.
My question just is like, where does it go? Like, you know, we don't have a button for it. And so I'm just thinking there's going to be some things that we haven't thought about yet.
Yeah.
And like how like, right now I've got, you know, on Chrome desktop, I have the site off to the side to look at it, and there's maybe room. So and I'm logged into it. There's maybe room for one more button there, but what happened? Like, oh, the buttons go to the 3-bar thing if I collapse it. Okay. So it just a thought about like where we plan to put stuff. So
yeah. I mean, I definitely think programs needs to be up there between events and history. I think it's a core item of what we're trying to do as an organization. And it also gives people a link to, and something, you know, they can directly link into to submit what kind of participation they want to be part within the organization.
Joel, one observation, just as I shrink this desktop screen from like a sort of regular size, as I'm moving it across, the 2-word buttons go to 2 lines before the whole thing collapses into the 3-bar.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like there's a magic point there where it does it
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
That, yeah, that unfortunately.
All right, again, it's not a huge thing if it was a quick fix, but if it's not, it's fine. It's like,
Got it. Yeah. I think that's because the appearance of the hamburger menu, whatever you call it, is based on being a certain size. It just appears after a certain size.
okay.
But
Can you put
it's weird.
a hidden character so that camp directory and going to Burning Man are one word?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Camp. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That will work.
Do we need to go through the site, or are we ready to those documents that are on there, with the exception of the programs one, are ready to go live on the site right now?
Yeah. I can do a demo of a couple of this couple of really small things that I've added since last time we met, which I can demo. Well, one big thing, one small thing.
Does that include that option that we were talking about with the favorites on the camp directory stuff?
No.
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 You fingered the screen on that one.
No, do you want to, if you want to let me share my screen.
Yeah, it should be, anyone should be able to share,
Be
right?
allowed. Yeah, let's try this one. Share, let's see what happens. Okay.
Stop my share, maybe that'll
Ooh.
make a difference.
No, it's got it. I think mine is sharing, I think.
Yep, that's you.
The only thing to notice here, number one, as requested last time, the top banner should just be changing by itself every
It does.
30
It
seconds.
does on
or
my
so.
side.
Yeah.
My side too.
Cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of all this. I finished all this font stuff, so it's all the same font. I feel like there was some little tiny things that I did. The main thing I worked on is to submit your theme camp to the directory. I made a little link here. I'm not logged in, so it's telling me to log on. If I log on, I'm going to pick an account that I have not used before. And you'll see after it logs me on. So this is an imaginary new person. Then I've got the whole fill in your camp here. Let me log out for a second. Sign in with this account. This is the account that has submitted a camp in 2019. So please work. Yes. Okay. So it knows that I had a camp in 2019 just based on my email address, and that should work for anybody who's probably will work about 75% of the TCOs from 2019. And I can either submit a whole new camp or I can resubmit my 2019 camp.
Can I interrupt for just a moment?
Yeah.
So this is actually an interesting point, because here's Matt. We've got Matt with us right now, and Matt is taking over a theme camp for 2021.
Yeah.
So basically, because you're the old administrator who submitted a camp once before, submitted a camp, you would just submit your camp new for 2021.
Well, we could also change the email address on the old camp if we were bold enough to do so. Like we administrators, anybody who's an administrator could go change the email address on the old camp. And then he could take over that camp for 2021.
My only hesitation is I and this is me being kind of I don't know what the word is, but I like maintaining the history of the past.
Yeah.
I would rather not have the past edited out, because I know there's a couple of camps out there that have had some troubles with their past leadership.
Okay. Yeah. So he would just, in that case, he would be resubmitting it as new.
And I think that should be, I really think that should be our policy on that, is unless it's like something that's clearly something we need to help with. And I'd like to know how you guys feel about that, but you know, I know there's been like,
well, it only should, the truth is it only it only shows to us administrators, right? Because we don't have, we don't publicly show the name or email of the person who submitted the camp, unless they have deliberately put their email address as their public face, which almost nobody did.
Okay.
So it's not a, it's not, it doesn't make a strong, I mean, it's probably better for us to keep it right in the database as far as knowing who had submitted that camp. Anyway, the only thing I want to show here is that I can either just go ahead and hit submit and I've got a complete copy of my camp. Or if anything's changing, I can change it in here. We're changing our name to Future Turtles and we're going to be, everybody's going to be cool. And I'll submit. Matt, what was your oop? I gotta figure that out. Camp with that name already exists. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. That's because I created it and deleted it, but that won't happen to anybody. Okay, so there I am in the 2021 directory. Another thing that happens now, I'll go back home. If I try to hit submit again, it just goes back to my camp and lets me edit it. So it's not going to let me, that's actually kind of the real spam protection that we have right now, is that you need a whole Gmail account to submit a camp, because otherwise the second time you try to submit a camp from the same Gmail account, it just goes back to editing your first camp. So we won't get in trouble from people submitting 100 spam camps. Yeah, I was going to say, Matt, what was your camp?
Land of Monkey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, because it's just you, or you submitted it, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. So we as administrators, because I'm logged on as an administrator, which you can see up here, I have the email and the name of who submitted this camp.
Yeah, that guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's got
gonna delete it.
problems with past leadership.
Oh my god. So complicated.
I kid.
Okay, so yeah, right now camp directory again, as you all know, is still showing 2019. On New Year's Eve, that will automatically flip over to showing 2021. It doesn't have anything in it yet. That's all I got.
So, Joel, I have a question. So if you log out as admin,
Yeah,
and then you want to log back in, then you've forgotten, like, so are you're pretty sure of the email that you used, and it's not a Gmail account.
yeah.
But then you can't remember your password. Like I just went through this while you were doing this.
It's your Google. We don't have a password. It's your Google password.
No. I'm saying the email address that I used to create Tickled Mink is not a Gmail account. And the password that I thought was right, it doesn't work. But then I'm sort of stuck at that point.
I can fix that. Oops, in the wrong year. 19. So you are this macvreactor@gmail.com you can't get into?
Oh wait, no. Okay, so all right, let me try. Why did it? Okay, so what it didn't do this morning when I logged in, it didn't say what you had just gone through about the update. So
Oh,
where
that's
would
weird.
that show up? Yeah.
Just hit please submit your camp
Okay.
on the homepage and see what happens. It should, I hope it says it now. You're welcome to.
Okay.
If you want to try, it'll only take a millionth of a second. And
Right.
if it doesn't work, then I'm doing something wrong.
But I guess the question is for someone else who's not in this conversation has that
Yeah.
issue.
The truth is they won't notice because they'll just get told to submit a new camp. They'll just get a blank form for a new camp and they'll be like, oh, I gotta
Okay.
fill out a new form. And the only problem is that they have to type again instead of having it just automatically copy.
Hey,
So-
Matt, do you think you could try submitting Land of Monkey for 2021 now, just to go through that process? You can edit it or remove it or whatever, but Would you
Okay.
mind just adding something right now, just so you can see that it works?
Yeah, I can try.
I
And
just wanted to test it since
Yeah.
we do have camp leads here. It'd be a benefit, I think.
I'm going to stop sharing because
and Joel, just so I'm in,
uh,
and if I want to move Tickled Mink to 2021, like what was the process you
Do
suggested?
you
Submit
want
a
to share
camp.
your screen, Wing?
Sure.
We can all learn.
Learn along.
Now.
Oh. Dude, it's happening. Now you just have to submit because this is your last year's information, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, so just scroll down and hit submit.
Okay, so but I guess what's not clear then is that's the process that's happening. Like I
I
didn't
think
get,
so. Did you get here through a, hold on, let's go back to the homepage. Click on the submit advertisement on the right. That's my campers doing Tutu Tuesday. There you go.
so I had to click that to get here.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't do that. So,
Okay. So now you can resubmit.
Okay.
Boom. Oh yeah. See, now it says that you're submitting for 2021
Okay. Got it.
and you can edit or you can submit.
I'll just submit.
Boom. You're there.
Okay.
It's pretty easy. I think probably as I browsed through the TCO's email addresses, they all looked pretty reputable. And so I think that most people will just have this happen magically and won't even notice.
Okay.
You guys really did a great job. Thanks, Joel. This is really looking awesome.
Sure.
Matt, did you resubmit?
Working on it.
Oh, okay. Not to be nag. All right.
Now, so Joel, when on midnight, everyone who hasn't updated will be migrated?
No, I wasn't planning that. I think we should start, and there'll just be 3 camps showing. I
Okay.
think we need to reach out to the TCOs and say,
Okay, okay.
hey, it's time. And they may be, waiting until we hear some word from
Sure.
the org that they plan to have Burning Man in the future.
Why wait?
Supposed to speak to Sam Goldman this week. I hope to get some insight into what their crazy thinking is.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, you just saw that message that went out on the blog or something like that, where they were counting down the days the man burns. And that got everybody's attention so fast.
There will be so many vaccines available by early summer that they could literally require a vaccine to attend Burning Man, and that would not be a problem. And they would have 100% vaccinated. I mean, I don't know if they would, maybe they would think that that was infringing on somebody's freedoms of something, but
Well, right, but your
There's
choice
always
of
gonna be something
going
to
or
do.
not going. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
But some people may not have access to the vaccine too. Like, anyway, we don't need to go down that rat hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like the quantity that are available in the US, at least there will be plentiful. There should be plentiful available. Yeah, we could have a big event. And I mean, the thing I'm basing it on is if you look at the other events, albeit much more irresponsible ones, like EDC is planning EDC Vegas in May, which sounds a little bit shaky, but they are planning on having it.
I mean, actually, the Vegas community tends to be very optimistic, and
Yeah.
they tend to say they're going to do it, but then within 30 days they'll say, "Oh, it's not going to."
Yeah.
work. I mean, I know the community pretty well over there, so yeah.
Yeah, but that's May, and that's like that's much earlier in terms of the whole timeline. So,
Wink, if you're done, do you want to stop sharing, and then we'll go ahead. And Matt, how's it going with you? I just want to make sure you're not having any problems.
Let me submit 1 second.
So, and I need to, because I just shared this one window. How do I stop sharing?
If you go up to the top, I think there should be a little slide down that says stop share.
Because I'm not.
No?
see
Yeah,
if I
let
can
me see
go-
if I can.
If you can take it back, yeah. I don't see, it's got, this, I've never really shared a window like this before. So,
Yeah, somewhere, either the top of your whole screen, you may have to move your mouse to
Hold
the,
on.
okay, got it.
I just grabbed it out of there. So
Okay,
okay. So kind of I just want to check with Matt on if he's able to submit without, you know, like I was worried that if he had a Land of Monkey in the title that it would say Land of
that's
Monkey
there.
exists or anything like that.
I just submitted it, so I think it's,
Okay.
It is there, excellent.
All right, guys. So can I bounce on to new stuff or are we okay? So let's just talk about the project sheet if we could. So is this useful? Are we able to go down this road? I think we already have our inclusivity statement, right, Nexus? That's done.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you about that. I just put a thing on the FAQ page. I didn't know if you wanted to, which is basically just a placeholder.
Where's that at?
Well, that's not really an inclusivity statement either. I just, I just put a thing on the FAQ and it says, are there any rules about what camp entries may contain? Because that's really the only user submitted content.
Well, the 501c3 page has a definitive statement.
Oh, okay, good.
Just so you know.
Good.
We worked on it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It came off really nice.
I wrote a thing on the FAQ that says all camp directory entries should comply with the spirit of the 10 principles. Do not include commercial messages in your listing and be cognizant that Burning Man is open to people of all ages and that we reserve the right to remove listings. So that was just sort of the things that I thought are going to come up is commercial messages and things that aren't appropriate for children. So we've deliberately called those out, but we also sort of reserve the right to remove listings. And I don't expect bad behavior. And if there's bad behavior, I don't expect the people who behave badly to then stomp their feet and demand their right to continue to behave badly on our platform.
So what was this website? Well, it looks like there's a lot of things that we're at with this meeting we can close out, right?
Yep.
Still hot for that favorite button there, apparently.
Domain account.
The main account. Okay, that's
Domain
something in
account.
progress. Town hall meeting
that's-
allowed to be
Now, what was it?
determined. Wink. What is this? Copy all legacy docs from queerburners.com. Oh, we already did that. That's done. Right, Wink?
I think so, yeah.
You already did that, I think.
Okay.
There's a column over there on the right that's like when it was completed. So some of those things have something written in the completed date,
Am I missing? Oh, I didn't even.
like way over on the right.
It was out of my screen range there. Sorry. That's a completed date. That's so the delivery date is intended to be the date it should be done by.
Yeah.
Okay. Just we're on the right page. All right. So that's different. That might. So this could change. This could be the PR item that that we submitted over for Wink. I'll update this, but we've updated the press release and it has links in it that are important. Ideally, we should be getting that out within the next couple of days. And Matt and I were talking and we think Wink should publish it. Are there any thoughts on this?
I guess, is there, the whole website rebrand? Like, there's been no notice of that yet either, right?
No. So one of my theories is at some point we need to rebrand all of our Facebook groups. This is a soft like launch of, hey, we're working on this stuff and we want to hear from you guys as we move forward. That's essentially what this is saying.
Right, but I'm just so, on, I'm just like, what is the timetable to update Facebook and other things, you know, and migrating the name to be one word? I'm just, there are
So,
a lot
on
of
the project
parts.
sheet, I suggested 12/20 to start, or we can do it now and
Uh-huh.
start moving that stuff over. I mean, people are going to start wondering, hey, what's going on? And that's going to catch a lot of attention.
Right. So I'm just trying to like, there's a lot of intermediate steps to do. I mean, it can just start I mean, I guess we're not a,
Well, you're not alone on this. I mean, I can be there and I can help out as much as I can. I'm happy to,
Yeah.
update the banners with logo and images and context if we decide on what that context should be. You know, I'm in the about section.
right. Well, I'm just thinking right now there are multiple banner images on the website, but we need to pick what goes on to Facebook. And
So, did you have a question, Nexus?
A question and or consideration in terms of like what the operationalizing the now of when this happens, and Wink, maybe there's something you were thinking about. I'd certainly be interested in helping, and I'm wondering if it'd be useful to have a work session where like any public facing things that happen, just so we can make sure they happen within the relatively like same window of time rather than like people doing it piecemeal, which I also think is fine. Like this might just be me overthinking it. I'm wondering if it might just be useful to have like a half-hour work session where we literally like do this, go through it, and we like go from A to B in terms of like the website, the face, you know what I mean? Rather than doing it separately and then checking over email and then it becomes a thing if questions come up. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it less work than more. And I'm wondering if like doing it just together over working session might be something to consider.
I love that.
well, and I think just looking at the new web page banner, it would make sense to pick one of those banners to be the Facebook banner, not have it be something different. So if we just get an opinion on what would be the favored banner image, then that will migrate the image and the logo in one.
I think we need to pick a new image because I hesitate only because there's like one image that has a 6-section pride flag on there. There's one image that has a queer camp on it. If we could find something that bridges those two things or is somewhere in between.
Okay, I started gathering together just by capturing images. So queer burner images from the files that are in the gallery, sort of, or in queer burners, and then images I had. So I can put a folder together of possible candidates. So
That's great. If you could put it on the shared folder in our image folder, that would be awesome. Yeah. So how is your bandwidth right now? Because I know you've been really tied up with work projects.
sort of negative, but so Well, I guess what is the goal for the PR release?
So, I mean, working with Nexus's suggestion, maybe we can have them work in concert with each other. I think that needs to be out sooner than later, the press release itself. Because I want people to start seeing what's there and start, and I think if we do this mood change through the different pages, that it's going to draw the eye more on this announcement. I love the idea of us having a little work party to, each of us do this together.
I think part of it for me is just going to be coming up with, there's a lot of different parts, just to identify what are all the parts and what needs to happen to each part. So sort of a work list.
Related to that, could I add on part of the order? And I'm wondering if this is like, sorry if this has been made explicit before, but I imagine it like the order would go website, email communications, then social media update. Do you know what I mean? So like the email's driving traffic to the website, so we want that to happen sooner, but we don't necessarily want changes to happen before we've communicated it. Does that order make sense or resonate with what other people were thinking, or is there something else people were thinking?
Can you say that one more time?
So website, then any kind of email, press release, communications going out, and then update social media.
Yeah, okay. So the press release and email. So when you said email, maybe we haven't really talked about how this press release is going to happen. Because in my mind, I was thinking pretty much Facebook. We can get a mail list together. And I think you can email people off of the website, but I'm not sure we need to go much further beyond Facebook. And I think we should probably submit this to Burning Man for the newsletter.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. When I was thinking email, the only things that came to mind were like anyone that's in the database or people the Think Camp organizers who might have like profiles on the website. I don't know if there's like another email list or any kind of communication that happens, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm also the admin for Burning Man Theme Camp organizer message board. So I can definitely help cross post it there. Like if Wink posts it on Queer Burners and I can share it over or something like that, I'm not going to rewrite it. I'm just, passing on the information.
I mean, just to be explicit, I'm always like going to harp on email as the thing that happens because then I just know people who aren't on Facebook anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay.
Yeah, I actually think that
Make that work.
if we can get the Jackrabbit Speaks to write something, that gets in a lot of people's inboxes, and then that gets copied to Reddit, and that's probably going to be much bigger impact than anything we do in our own channels if we can just get Jackrabbit Speaks to.
I think we can definitely submit it over to Burning Man Communications, and
yeah,
we can also do like regional lists, like the East Bay Burners list. I'm sure they would put a shout out in that.
East Bay Burners is always open to sharing our information. They're really good with that. But there's also another list on Facebook that can get out to people that we can do. It's the regional and leadership Facebook group that's somewhat private that I'm also on, that I can cross post there and ask people to share in their communities. That's international. So right now, I somehow, and I asked Matt about this the other day, is like somehow I have a meeting scheduled for the entity group on Wednesday, which isn't supposed to actually happen. I'm afraid to cancel it because I don't want people to think the next meeting is canceled. Is it possible we can just turn this into a kind of a work meeting for this specific subject? Would you guys be open to that?
Oh, that's not gonna be great for me, but
Yeah, I was worried about that.
and where in the Google Drive is the PR? Like,
It's up higher, it's up at the top. Here, I'll show you if I can get my stupid screen to change. There it goes. So, hold on. So up at Teams project at the very top, press releases is up there, right above where Teams links are at.
So as far as Wednesday goes, I'm flexible. Like if we want to meet and do a work session, we can do that. Or the entity folks can meet and work on that stuff, or we can just cancel and
I think the entity team should stay with its scheduled time on the 16th.
okay.
Because there's a lot, there's irons in the fire for that. That includes meeting our potential bookkeeper.
Okay.
Which is scheduled for that date. I'm gonna. I don't want to lose you on this one, Wink. But I don't want to overtax you either.
and just I don't use Google Drive a lot, but the most recent shares to me are from November. So,
well, these aren't direct shares. Everybody has access to this.
okay.
Let's see. I'll just double check. So it's under the MACV.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So, let me,
I can send you a link.
that would be really helpful.
Hold on one second. Let me just send you a link. What is that?
So I feel like one thing we didn't, because we know this is something we need to work towards, the diversity message for the website, I think it needs to take a more prominent place.
Okay.
I mean, because
Are we talking about the paragraph in the case statement? Or we're talking about equity? What was it?
Yeah, because I'm just saying those things you have to go find them. Like, you're not going to just see that. So it doesn't seem like we made it a priority. And it seems like it should be a priority.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. It's actually a conversation that Nexus had right before the meeting. Very much along that line. We're totally open to suggestions.
I mean, it could be a button at the top. I think it needs to be at that high a level, that just to explain, that.
Did you see the link in the chat for that folder there? That'll take.
We have a sort of bare paragraph on the homepage that says Queer Burners encourages radical participation, and there's definitely room to expand that. I mean, we said inclusive spaces for people and allies by fostering community. I mean, it's not like there's any.
Where are you looking at?
Just Greeter Station, the second paragraph there,
Mm-hmm.
where we say sort of radical participation. That's sort of a kind of naked paragraph there that could be expanded quite a bit. We could talk about, radical inclusion and how that means,
Well, maybe that's a good place for the statement, and maybe, highlight it in a way where it's,
Yeah. It could even just be a more, it doesn't have to be the whole statement. It could be a bigger sentence, more juicier sentence with a link to something that just goes into depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, if like, for example, if we were to go that route and included the like LGBTQIA plus thing as part of the FAQs and did like an anchor tag, and just link to that, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Is it, so then are we solid on that decision then? So what's happening there? So Queer Burners encourages radical participation is going away. And then are we putting in the statement there, or are we putting a link there? What's happening?
I would recommend putting a, wait, let me go read the statement. I know it's here somewhere. I would recommend a sentence or two that then links to this statement.
Okay.
This is in, sorry, the statement you're talking about is in 501c3 right now?
501c3, yes. It's in the case statement section.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, got it. I mean, the one I like the best is Queer Burner centers diversity, equity, and inclusion as core values. Like that paragraph. What if we took the paragraph, Queer Burner centers diversity, equity, and inclusion as core values of our community. Consent culture and safe places are the key tenets of Queer Burners, particularly for people of color, transgender, and non-binary impressions. We just copy and paste that up to the homepage, and then let that be a link to the 501c case statement. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Here, I'll do it right now.
Any thoughts on it? Anyone? Any concerns about that? Okay.
Did that work? Was it that easy?
On Zoom. So.
Save. All right, hit refresh on your, hit refresh again. Oh, it messed up my my pretty picture.
Broke it.
I'll fix that.
Okay.
Nixus, how does that look to you?
All right, thumbs up. All right. Okay. So then I'm going back to the question then, because we're over our time and I want to kind of start wrapping up. So it sounds like Wednesday as a work day is not going to work for you, Wink.
Probably not, no. But so I've got this press release open. Is there just the one then?
So there's one page of the press release and it links to another page. So that second page would remain there and people will follow that link to comment on that page and add their 2 cents to it.
Okay, yep. But this is what you want me to review.
So yeah, we need your thumbprint basically on that statement. So not the XXX one, it's this one here, 1207.
Right. And so then then I guess, did we square away how it gets released then? Or is that something to still be?
So there'll be a Facebook announcement using this. We talked about one other channel and I'm blanking on what it was right now.
With Jackrabbit or?
Jackrabbit Speaks, yeah. So I think if we start with those two and then we'll share on Facebook into the various groups. Any of us can share into a group. We're not changing the context. So like Glamcox, Beaverton, Burning Man Theme Camp Message Organizer Board, stuff like that. So
Do we want to kind of formally divide and conquer just so we're not at least posting? I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing for us to post multiple times, but at least so we're not posting in like the same time or like the same day, and it begins to feel spammy.
yeah. I mean, is that part of a conversation for a work day?
Possibly, yeah.
But I don't want to keep prolonging this meeting because it's really running over at this point. And I know it's important information, but I also don't want to run Wink over because of an expectation.
Well, I would have time to keep going now if we want to do that. We can break away. So that
Anybody
it's done.
else? Well, let's just see what everybody had the bandwidth for right now. Nexus, what's your bandwidth?
Gotta hop off.
Okay. Joel?
I got 15 more minutes.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like I'm willing to stay with you, Wink, and talk about this, and we'll make notes.
Okay.
And then we'll visit with other people. What about you, Matt? Where are you?
I should probably get going too.
Okay.
I got stuff to do today.
Yeah, I understand. But Wink and I will stay here, and then we'll continue the recording. And then that'll give anybody a chance to catch up. We'll make some notes, and then depending on where those notes go, I'll either change the meeting on Wednesday or cancel it. So we'll work it out.
Okay.
All right. So
Sounds good.
And Joel, thank you very much. Matt, I really appreciate your time too.
Sure. And I just want to make sure you saw in the chat, I put in the link for like submitting a post to Jackrabbit Speaks, and also like their guidelines are here. So
Awesome.
Cool.
Yep. Later.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
See you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good.
Well, you got a lot going on, huh?
It's yeah. I mean, work has to happen. So yeah.
I understand. I've been quarantined at home for 5 days, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my partner's immediate coworker is positive, and it might be another coworker that's positive. So my work said that's too close to home, so go. My quarantine ends on Tuesday, so we will see.
Okay.
But I've been home and not getting much accomplished. So, hey,
Yeah. So I'm looking at the press release. So
maybe we could just talk about a plan. Like we can kind of include it on here. So
okay.
if we do Facebook release on, and so there's certain days and times where you have a greater impact than on other days.
Right.
And to my understanding, that's typically a Tuesday or a Thursday, mid to late morning.
Okay.
For the most impact on a release to the general public.
Okay.
Would it be, so the Nexus was saying what? So first, the website, the email, and then social media, right?
Right. But I guess first question is, like, the website currently doesn't have, it's a static thing. It doesn't have an announcement.
Well, I took from him that my takeaway from him was, is the website ready for people to look at?
Oh, I think yes.
Yeah.
I would, yes. Yeah.
I think for the most part it is. I still think we need to get the updates made that we talked about already, but I think we're good. The basic things like the 501c3 link on there. Just a couple little corrections with CSS with spacing on images, but otherwise, there's just little tiny fix things.
Right. I mean, I'm putting all of those things in the ongoing category. We're constantly going to be making tweaks, I think.
Yeah,
so.
it's on the project list. It's just gonna happen over time. I'm 100% on the same page. And then the second one was email, and I think that's just the announce in general, right? Or
But I guess how is that managed now? Like, do you ever send emails to everyone?
I haven't done that in years, actually. We've just grown too high in numbers.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, as a Facebook, I'm gonna say super user, like I don't have patience for people who aren't on Facebook, you know, because they're in such a minority that like I just it's hard to cater to them, you know, because it just creates and then if you
even out
do
of our own group here, there's a couple people that have divorced themselves from Facebook. And the number's growing. I mean, I think it's starting to wander into MySpace territory with Facebook, a lot of people. So I mean, I was in your same position probably about a year ago, but I've just seen so many people leave it out of frustration that are migrating to Instagram, which is also Facebook anyway. So
right. But it just sort of creates if we broadcast to every channel, then we also lose people because it's like, oh, it's so noisy. I just saw this on Facebook and now it's on Instagram and then it's on Twitter and I got an email. I don't, it's.
Yeah, I'm not big on the email idea at all, to tell you the truth. So there really isn't an email channel to even bother with. Would that be fair to say?
I would, well, I mean, I guess there is, it's just we don't have a tool set up to, you know, broadcast that way.
Okay.
Right? I mean, how would you get all those email addresses? Do you have like, do they exist in a way?
The website has or had, I'm not sure if it's still there right now, but everybody who registered. So there's like 500 names there. Email.
Can you send an email to those 500 people?
I believe it's possible.
So I mean, it's a question, I guess, in terms of creating a tool, because we may want to do that at the beginning of the year for everyone that's currently registered with the website. That would be a way to say, okay, it's time to update. So
let's go back to skipping email.
Okay.
And then social media. So Facebook. The thing about Facebook is we've got to update banners. We got to make a post and share a post. But like Nexus said, we want to avoid spamming the hell out of the entire Facebook.
Right. So one thought also would be, so that people see it, would be to create an event, which could be either the town hall, if we're going to have that, or the deadline, you know, because I think people are more likely to see the notification for an event or the invitation to the event.
Okay.
I'm just
I mean, right now the town hall doesn't look like it can happen until January. Just, you know, the reality is with the holidays,
but I mean, the event can be created for that now, and it would trigger the links being available to people, you know, and they might see it over the next 3 weeks as they, again, since there's so few things happening, people aren't really looking at events anymore, but it's.
Okay. So when do we update banners then? I mean, in my opinion, we shouldn't wait too long. I'm certainly willing to help with that.
Right.
Images in question, right?
Right.
Images or image singular? Because right now they're all got one image on them.
Right. Well, and I mean, I think there's only space for one image, like and if we want to incorporate the logo into that, I think we're just picking, I mean, it's not going to do the fade or anything. So,
No, it's static.
yeah. So and again, as a soft transition, it could be that background that is currently on Facebook and it just gets the new logo set on top of it. And we change, you know, that would be, and again, that's an image we can change, you know, 4 times a year or, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I like that idea. Are you okay with me doing that then?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I at least have that image, and if I can get a PNG, then I can just do that. Then, so would you be okay with me taking on that banner change and then just changing them across the board?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take that on this week.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it today because I think it just, people aren't going to see it. So, and plus I need to, can you send me the font too? Because I think if I put, well, what do you think? So if I put the Queer Burners logo up there and then put East Bay, San Francisco, or you know, Midwest or Europe or whatever on there as well. Should I use the same font or should I use something else?
I would use the same font just to keep it tied together, and it's a free font. So
is it? Can you just send me the information on the font so I can incorporate it?
I'm just looking for. That's not it. So the
So in our conversation a moment ago, we talked about creating the event. Are we going to release, do you think it's better to release the press release in that scope of that event, or as a separate post, or layered?
So I think what's a brainstorming with you. If one release means many people miss it. Having two, or one release on one platform means lots of people miss it. And then the more platforms and times we release it, or ways we release it, increases the number of people who see it. But then there's a tipping point where people like turn off. So doing them all in the same day is probably not, I think, so just brainstorming with you. All in the same day probably means if somebody like is busy that day and not checking things, and then the way Facebook works, they may not see it because something of greater group interest will pop up higher. So it just depends on how much someone's scrolling.
So keeping that in mind, what do you think about, so I'll do the banner changes on Monday. And then we do the press release and a post on Thursday. And then at the beginning of next week, we create the event, a town hall, and repeat the press release information in the body of that.
Yeah, I think adding the press release information into other things gets the message out there. And if if it's headed as, press release, blah, 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 people, oh, yeah, I already read that. So they can they don't have to read it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So also going back to something Matt had suggested is that the press release come from you instead of me.
Okay. Well, is it coming from who? Isn't it just coming from so I guess this is a global discussion as well. Is there an individual speaking for Queer Burners, or is there an anonymous source?
Well, that's actually a really good question, because one of the benefits of having the Queer Burners page instead of the group was that I could post things as Queer Burners without necessarily my name appearing. And the effectiveness of that, I guess, was there was a good and a bad side to it. There's some people that just get sick of hearing my voice, and there's some people that we're just up for anything, and there was a part of me that wondered, would it be okay? So this is me brainstorming again. So would it be wise to have that Queer Burners page out there strictly as a voice? But I don't want to confuse people with, that's a problem, is I think it can confuse people with having both of those on there. I know, I just saw the confetti pop out of your ears.
Well, I mean, I think we have to
be smart.
Well, no, we have to be smart, and we just have to accept that we're probably completely missing, I don't even know, 20, 30%, who won't ever know that this happened. They just won't know. So I think part of it is just for us to have realistic goals about the messaging, who are we going to get to? And I think it's unrealistic to think that we
know what we could do instead? We could create an ad. Instead of just a post, we can actually create an ad. So
I think that would be counter to our, that's a commodifying.
But we're not making any money off of it.
I know, but I think it would just, I just think it sort of falls into a strange, to be getting ads, because you'll see that it's sponsored content, right?
I mean, we're paying for it. I mean, it's,
right. But I think it gets
different than St. Jude Hospital saying.
Right. But it gets a tag then as sponsored content though, right?
Yeah, because I don't feel like I have a problem with it because we're not a commodified organization. But it definitely, this is just talk.
Yeah. I think it would not, I think there would be, eyebrows would be raised.
The benefit, I think, is definitely, so the drawback is some people could go, what? But the positive side of it is that we can select demographic information, and it's not going to be, you know, pinpoint, but we do stand the chance of reaching a number of people that we wouldn't normally be able to reach. They'll see it in a way that I don't think just casual browsing will let them see it.
Right. Well, and
It's as a nonprofit organization, does it show up differently? I'm not sure. I don't know. That's a question, huh?
well, see, and also I use Social Fixer to eliminate sponsored content.
Yeah.
So I can turn it off to see what I would see otherwise, but
I don't think a lot of people are. I mean, I have it too. I know what you mean, and that's because of you. But
well, I'm just trying to. I just wanted to turn it off to see what it looks like, and I've never turned it off, so I have to.
I think that's. I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how negative do you feel about the idea of creating an ad?
I think it's a slippery slope.
Uh-huh.
So, and that's where I'm going back to my, like, even an ad. I think my mention that we're missing people caused you to think about the ad to increase who would see it. And I guess my point is we have to accept that we're going to miss a large number of people. Like, our ability to message is not, you know, unless we have a phone tree and we start calling people and we hear their voice. Like,
well, how about this? Let's just stick with the plan without creating an ad. We'll do the banners, the post, and then the event for the next week plus. And then we'll revisit this conversation at our next meeting to see. I just based on what I'm feeling right now today, I see the benefit of creating an ad.
well, and check with other people.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm not trying to make a unilateral decision.
Yeah.
Sure.
My vote would be no, but you know, if the rest of the group thought, oh, no problem, then I'll go with that.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we have a plan. So next Monday, I'll work on a event and I will collaborate with you on that through Facebook. And then we'll work it out.
So again, the thought about the voice, is it like Queer Burner Anonymous speaking? I would think that's well, I mean, when like we don't know who, like Burning Man obviously has a huge PR group. Jack Rabbit speaks is well, has the person's changed over time, right?
Who does the Jack Rabbit speaks?
Yeah, I mean, Jack Rabbit was a playa name for somebody, but I think now that person's not the person writing anymore.
There's been a lot of changes over there.
Right. So I think in a way it's just like that's the name of their newsletter, where it started out being someone sending the messages. Now it's just the name of the message. So I think anonymous works because it then, like, as people transition, it like doesn't have to change. It's just,
Well, I mean, my question is, how do we do that?
okay. So so in terms of like, well, the press release doesn't have, I mean, it's going to have a sender, but it doesn't have the author isn't noted, right?
It is not.
So I think, yeah, I'm happy to send it to Jack Rabbit. And then, but it'll be coming from, well, that's interesting. Like, do we have this goes back to the whole email address and how we identify things. Like, is it,
Well, we still use info@queerburners.com for.
okay, but, well, but we want to transition that to org, and we want to, like, just, is that what Joel said, like setting it up for me to send something as either wink@queerburners.org or, yeah, it's just like a question of like, who is sending it? Like, I can be the one to hit send, but what is the return address on that email?
So why aren't we using info@queerburners.com?
Oh, Ken, okay, but I just need, do I have access to that?
Right now it goes to just, goes into a,
Well, but, and I'm gonna say we want to switch it now to org. Like, we don't, I think we're retiring COM.
well, I don't think we're retiring it. It's still going to be there, but
No, it'll be, but it's a legacy address. No one's, we wouldn't use it going forward.
I don't know. We haven't just made that decision on any level at this point.
Okay, so that's a overall question,
But
but
actually that's a good direction for to ask Joel
uh-huh,
to what email address can I use now?
uh-huh.
And just have him make that, just set something up so we can just start using it.
Right.
If it is info@queerburners.org, let's just focus on that for now.
It sounds good. It's also completely generic, so it doesn't, like, it's not a department or anything. So.
Okay. So and when are you submitting this?
So
The sooner the better, I think.
okay, to Jack Rabbit, right.
Yeah, because they're not going to publish it right away.
Right. I've read the first paragraph a couple times. I'm just reading through it.
The newsletter or the
The release.
okay.
So if from the press release, that link lets me comment. Anyone can comment on it on the
pages, yes.
okay. And so they're just suggesting changes. They're not editing. Okay.
Correct.
And So if I'm going to go in here and suggesting,
Remember, you have a different level of permission than other people.
I do, but just so that I don't overwrite it, I'm just doing it as suggesting right now.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Ooh, what's going on here? Oh. What? Oh,
so we're seating a board or we're placing a board?
dumb question. Is there a difference?
I think it's seating. Because placing would be putting the board somewhere.
Okay.
So here so we've already, Queer Burners has launched a new website, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of editing in my
No, yeah.
my submission. Is it okay if I just accept these?
Oh yeah. If you're good with them, I just wanted you to be able to see what I was.
Oh, damn! I accidentally deleted one of the changes. It was up at the top. So just to clarify something here that you missed in conversation is we're giving people a chance to add suggestions and make comments that aren't necessarily going to be reflected right away. They might come into play in the future.
Okay. Okay, so those are my thoughts on
Cool.
that.
Can, are you okay if we jump back to the notes real quick?
Yeah,
So, then that takes us to Instagram and Twitter.
uh-huh,
I made some notes here. So the Queer Burners account, if we submit on Tuesday, so we're not, it wouldn't necessarily be spammy, I think, our announcement for the press release. Any of us can do that.
uh-huh,
It's also a good chance to change the name to make sure it's not queer_burners anymore. It's now Queer Burners, one word with a capital Q.
uh-huh.
And then Twitter, change the banner, make sure the name reflects the change of the organization. And doing doing that a day later. Do you want to you want me? Let's see. I'm going to take ownership of some of this stuff. Like Scott's got this one. And then this is going to be you, right? You're going to do the Facebook post.
You're updating the banner. Okay, I'll do the post.
And wink. So I'll create the event and then I'll just collaborate with you.
Okay,
And I'll do it early on, just so you have time to go through it before it's released, okay?
okay. Yeah, I think. So we can be co-hosts and I'm trying to think. The post can be scheduled for a future date. For the Queer Burner group, the post could be scheduled to be, so we have an opportunity to look at it as a draft. The event in the group,
You can create it, collaborate, and hold on to it. You don't have to release it right away.
okay, so we can do that. Okay,
Yeah, that's a new tool with them, so it's helpful. All right, and then since you've got so much on your plate, do you want me to take on Instagram and Twitter?
if you can, that's, yeah.
All right, I don't want you, I'm scared to death that I'm gonna overwhelm you with, asking for things, and I don't want to do that.
Appreciated.
So I'm trying to be, and it's okay to tell me if I'm, asking too much. I'm extremely focused on this, so yeah, so it's a different world for me, I think. All right. Anything that we've left, any stones that we've left unturned?
I think this takes, I mean, we've broken it down and it's clear what needs to happen and who's doing what when. So I think that's, so this is, I can send this, I just check with Joel about the email, but then the press release is good to go.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're good, Matt signed off on it, and then so we're good to go.
Okay.
And the changes you made are spot on, so much appreciated.
All righty.
Does that mean we're done for today?
I think we're good for today.
Well, I really appreciate your time. I'm gonna end the recording. I just want to chat with you about something real quick, okay?
Okay.